There's air cooling, oil cooling, and liquid cooling. However, there are cases when none of these methods are suitable for various reasons. For the Mercedes-Benz W125 Rekordwagen, neither radiators nor cooling fins were efficient. Since it only ran short distances, ice cooling was chosen as the right option. In the early 1930s, Italians dominated automobile Grand Prix racing until the introduction of the silver arrows. The Mercedes-Benz W25 became a formidable competitor, and it seemed like Auto Union and Daimler were having their own race, reaching unheard of speeds of over 300 km per hour. For the 1937 season, Rudolf Uhlenhaut designed the W125 as its successor, and Albert Hess crafted an upgraded engine for the task. A supercharged V12, initially designed with steel cylinders and welded-on cooling jackets, the engine became unacceptably heavy at 295 kilos. As a result, the outgoing straight 8 from the W25 was modified at the last moment and increased in volume. This engine would become the most powerful Grand Prix engine until turbocharged F1 units emerged in the 1980s. No pity for the V12, as it found its proper use in a different discipline. Besides racing, the two German automakers were also competing in land speed record with very similar machines to those on the tracks. This competition had no maximum weight limit, allowing the heavy beast to be utilized. The 12-cylinder engine measuring 5.6 liters was rated at over 700 horsepower, easily outperforming the similarly sized inline 8. Usually in October, there was an event called Record Week, organized by sub-organizations of the NSDAP, during which speed runs took place. For the 1937 attempt, Mercedes-Benz created an extensively streamlined version of the W125, a bit different from the one that Manfred von Brauchitsch had been racing alongside the open-wheeler versions. The result was a speed of 366 km per hour for a flying kilometer and 358 km per hour for a flying mile, which was a huge letdown compared to Auto Union's figures of 406 km per hour for a flying kilometer. It was discovered that the car's aerodynamics were actually lifting the front, preventing the driver from going flat out on the throttle. Additionally, the engine would not run at full power. 3 days later, the team returned with a 46 kg lead ballast on the front axle, achieving a speed nearly but not yet reaching the magical 400 figure. Repeating engine issues and insufficient high-speed stability were enough to make them give up this time. The 12-cylinder engine had plenty of power to reach the desired speeds, but the problem was aerodynamic efficiency. External expertise from the aviation industry was called in to evaluate the car's design. While the overall shape was relatively fine, the frontal area was too tall and the rear end required a longer tail with an optimized taper to generate downforce. The aircraft engineers also suggested ditching the water radiator and its huge opening. Since the car was only run for short distances during record attempts, ice cooling was advised. An ice tank was located inside the car, allowing the hot coolant to flow through. The front only received 2 small openings for the carburetor inlets. Overall, the front was shortened by 80 mm and the rear was extended by 500 mm. With current aero measuring methods, the W125 Rekordwagen had a drag coefficient of only 0.157, and it paid off. The modified car was ready in early 1938. In the early morning of January the 28th, 1938, Rudolf Caracciola set off on the first run, and the improvement became immediately evident. He managed to reach 432 km per hour over both the kilometer and mile with a flying start. The absolute peak was recorded at 437 km per hour. Bernd Rosemeyer of the Auto team attempted to break that record, but, possibly due to strong winds, went off the road of today's A5 Autobahn and did not survive the accident. The W125's record was set when production cars were not even reaching 200 km per hour. Its record as an automobile speed record on a public road stood for nearly 8 decades until 2017, when the Koenigsegg Agera RS reached 447 km per hour in a two-way hybrid speed.